Hey Magical Sparks, welcome back to my channel. It's Sparkle here, and today I'm going to be making not just one but two full illustrations using the very first images that both Google and Pinterest show me, ads excluded, when I search up things like poses, expressions, and so on. Now let's start it off with the Pinterest side. So this is my Pinterest account, and today I am going to be searching up things like poses, expressions, and stuff like that. But here's the thing, I did record the images that I got to show you guys, but at the same time, I'm also worried about copyright problems. So instead, what I've decided to do is all the images that I used for this drawing challenge, I will be adding them to a board on Pinterest titled Pinterest Drawing Challenge 2. So if you want, you can check out my Pinterest and check out that board to see the images. And this is just so that we can avoid any copyright problems. And in the end, I just hope you can trust me that I will do the right thing and use the very first image that I get, ads excluded. Anyways, so as you can tell, the pose is pretty much what I've drawn the character posing as right now. And the expression I got was a very neutral expression. This expression pretty much means that the eyebrows have to be straight and the lips have to be straight, in my opinion. Anyways, the next thing I searched up was outfit, and I got this really pretty green outfit. It's kind of like a girl wearing a white shirt with nice puffy sleeves near the hands, and then she's got like this jumper on top with a diamond pattern, and she's got some really cool green pants. The entire outfit theme is pretty much green except for the white shirt, and I think so far so good. It's looking really cute and aesthetic and pretty, and one of the biggest things is that when the outfit color matches with the background, we are good to go. So let's just go ahead and cross our fingers for that. So the next thing I searched up was hairstyle. The very first hairstyle was an ad, so I couldn't save it to my Pinterest board. So then I went to the next hairstyle, and it was pretty much of a person with curtain bangs, and they had a middle part, and their hair was like of medium kind of length, and they had two braids going down from either side. I think this is a really cool, really unique hairstyle, and it's not something I've drawn that often because recently I've been drawing a lot of bangs and fringes and less, I guess, different hairstyles. So this was a really nice way for me to try something different. I then searched up accessories and got a pair of heels, but I couldn't fit them on the page. I then searched up earrings after that. The first one was an ad, but the second one was not. And the second one was pretty much these kind of translucent pink gummy bear earrings, which I went ahead and drew on one ear. Clearly because the hands were blocking the other ear. Anyways, and the very last thing I searched up was a scenery, and I got this really nice, pretty scenery of like a forest scene. There's a bunch of forest trees, and there's like a meadow with pink flowers, and in the background, I think the sun is rising, or it could be setting, and the sky kind of fades from a pastel blue to a pastel orange color. And that's pretty much that. So now we have got the pose, the expression, the outfit, accessories, the hairstyle, and the background as in the scenery. And with that, it was time to do our line art. Now, I don't know why, but recently I have been using a lot of kind of black colors or purple or blue colors to do the outlining, but today I kind of wanted to bring out the old, I guess, brown fine liners or like neutral fine liners that I haven't used in quite a while, and I'm so happy that I used them today because this outlining just ended up giving the final drawing such a nice soft look, which I'm absolutely loving. I don't know why, but today I was kind of feeling like I was in the mood to be really minimalistic and simple, so everything I did today did end up being kind of simple, but at the same time I'm loving how it looks. Like for example, with the skin, I didn't go too overboard with things like blush and lipstick and stuff. I kept it really simple, and even just with the shading in general, I kind of like kept it nice and minimal, but I just love how it's looking. Like maybe it's just because it's just a style or something, but I think I might try to implement this kind of minimalistic coloring style more frequently with my future drawings as well. Now, coloring the skin was so satisfying that I kind of ended up not noticing what marker I was using, and while the marker I was using did look nice while it was being applied on the paper, once it dried it did have a bit of an unnatural yellow finish. So what I did was I went ahead and used a bit of a different marker on top of that just to kind of desaturate the color but still keep its vibrancy. Anyways, after that very nice learning curve, I discovered how nice desaturated colors are. So I kept that in mind as I was coloring the outfit and pretty much for the rest of the drawing, and I tried to pick some nice desaturated kind of muted colors because bright colors are amazing, but desaturated colors are also just so pretty in a certain way. So I just tried to keep that vibe going. Now, something else that I kept on doing throughout this illustration was I kept on trying to repeat the colors and specific markers that I used. For example, the colors that I used for the top of the outfit were pretty much the exact same colors that I used for the pants, and I kind of did the same thing with the background as well, and I found that in this way I could kind of help the drawing kind of look as though it was all tied together and as though it all made sense in a nice, balanced and harmonious way. Maybe that's the case, or maybe I'm just overthinking it. Anyways, it did end up looking very, very nice that way. I'm gonna be honest, I was actually in the mindset that everything was gonna go wrong today and that everything was just gonna be crazy and chaotic and the final drawing might not turn out that nice, but to my surprise, the entire process was so smooth and even satisfying and therapeutic. Like, what? I loved doing this drawing challenge. This is my second time ever trying this drawing challenge and I genuinely loved it. Okay, so at this point in time, I decided to closely record the actual drawing and how it looks because I was kind of scared that when I was coloring the background that I might end up ruining it. So I just wanted to have like a memory of it in case it did get ruined, and that was what that was about. But you know what? Good news is that it did not get ruined and the background turned out looking very nice. Now here's the thing, I think the only reason why it turned out looking so well was because the colors really did match between the outfit and the background, and in that way it just made sense. Now in the actual photo image reference that I got on Pinterest, the background did fade from a pastel blue to a pastel orange, but if I had used those colors for the sky, it really just would not look good or make sense, which is why I decided to pretty much keep the concept similar, but instead make the sky kind of like a pastel aqua greenish kind of color, and instead of pink flowers I use this kind of bronze color to do the flowers, but it kind of does look similar in a way. But anyways, instead of drawing the reference as it was, I pretty much decided to give it my own kind of sparklified twist, if that kind of makes sense. But yeah, we're pretty much done with this drawing, signing it off, adding highlights because we are officially done. And here's how it looks, but don't leave the video yet because we still have one more round to go. Because in the next round, we're going to be drawing what Google tells me. So just like last time, I'm not going to be showing you guys the images again because of copyright reasons, but you guys are just going to have to trust me. So I searched up pose and I got like drawings other people did of poses. So then I decided to search up pose person, and when I did that, I got a reference image of an actual human being, which was exactly what I needed. So this man, he pretty much was standing normally, and he had his hands out kind of in a way as to say, hey buddy, hi, how are you, in that kind of way. But the thing is, perspective. Perspective exists, and because of perspective, I was having a lot of trouble drawing the hands. So finally, I decided to kind of have the hands curve inwards a bit, and that way it made it a bit more easier for me to draw the fingers. The next thing I did was I searched up the expression, and just like last time, the very first expression that showed up on Google Images was a very kind of neutral, kind of like a meh expression. So again, I gave this guy a very nice neutral expression. On one hand, I'm happy that it's meh because that kind of goes well with every outfit, but at the same time, an angry expression or a sad expression would have been kind of fun and interesting to draw. The next thing I searched up was outfit, and the very first outfit that I got was actually from Pinterest. So then I decided to draw the second outfit, and that outfit was pretty much of a guy with a gray shirt. He had a belt on and he had denim jeans and I'm pretty sure leather shoes, or at least brown shoes, and a watch. And the next thing I searched up was hairstyles. And I don't know how to describe this hairstyle, but it's kind of like a middle part sort of, and it's similar to the previous Pinterest girl's hairstyle, except for the fact that his hair is a bit more shorter. But yeah, pretty much the same concept. And on the bright side, it was pretty easy to draw. The second last thing we're gonna search up is earrings. And we got these really cool kind of ring earrings, specifically 3 on 1 ear. And our very last thing that I searched up was background, and you can kind of see it on the side. It was kind of like a blurred background, and you had like little circles, probably of like street lights or something, and it was like multicolored, kind of like the rainbow kind of thing. And the thing is, at that point, it didn't strike me that I had made a mistake by searching up background, because in the previous Pinterest challenge, I searched up scenery. Anyways, more on that later. So at this point, we are pretty much done with searching up things and sketching out things. So now it's time for us to do the outlining, and this time I decided to go with the same kind of outlining method. So I used black for the eyes and the eyebrows, and then I used the brown fine liner for everything else. And at this point, I thought this drawing was not going to turn out bad because, to my surprise, the face was looking good, the anatomy and everything was looking good. So to me, everything felt like it was going good. But with this one, I did kind of encounter a problem afterwards during the coloring stage. But let's deal with that when we get to the coloring. So I kind of tried to stick with a similar kind of coloring style for this drawing as well, kind of like a minimalistic, simple style like I explained before. So I didn't go too in with the shading, I just added a bit of shading, I did a lot of blending, and I just kind of tried to keep it nice and simple because, like I said before, I just love how that style looks. And like I said, it just made the entire coloring process so satisfying for me. And with that mentality, everything became easier to color, like the hair, the clothes, and everything, because I told myself, keep it nice and simple, and that just kept me going. But the only problem, well, the biggest problem that I encountered was when we reached the background, because A, how do I make the background look like the reference image that I got? Like, how do I give it that kind of glowy, kind of blurred look with markers? And B, how do I help it to connect with the actual character and the actual color palette of the actual character? But like I said, we'll deal with that when the problem arises. Okay, so the way I colored the clothes here doesn't actually make sense in terms of physics and how the fabric folds and everything. I just kind of made it up and went with the flow. But I gotta say, I am loving this entire idea of making it up because it just feels so nice because I can just draw without having to look at a reference and kind of think about where the fabric would actually fold and everything. But at the same time, learning how it works is also a great thing. And by the way, I decided to use a kind of red grayish color for the shirt just to kind of help it match with how the hair is currently looking. Also, if you have made it this far into the video and you have watched this far without skipping or fast forwarding, make sure to comment this emoji down below to let me know because you are truly amazing. Okay, so you know how I said that I used a bit of a red grayish color for the shirt to kind of help it match with the hair? Well, I did something similar with the pants. I pretty much added a layer of gray on top to kind of desaturate it and help it kind of match with the desaturated vibe of this drawing. And yeah, I shaded the denim in a really kind of interesting way. And then I went over the shirt with blue. Overall, a lot of this drawing was mainly just me trying to make all the colors work together and look good together, and all of that was going well until the background, which we have pretty much arrived to. Okay, so as I did start coloring the background, I wasn't particularly scared or nervous about anything. I kind of felt like, you know what, I can do this. Let's just pick some colors that'll look good. For example, let's make the kind of blurred lights blue and orangish so that it kind of matches with the character's outfit. And then I decided to make the background gray because obviously that would work well, right? Well, let's see. And then I thought, you know what, obviously I can blend it out, I can make it look glowy, I can use my white gel pen. I got this. And so I just kept on going and going and going until the circles started to look kind of weird, and they did not look at all like glowy lights. They just looked more like, well, disgusting dots. So then I tried to save it by adding in some shading around the character, adding some white gel pen around the character, and trying to use a metallic pen to like kind of make it look good and everything. I feel like I trusted the process way too much today, and honestly, throughout the entirety of my process coloring the background and finalizing this drawing, for some reason, I felt like it looked okay, like it looked kind of decent. But I took a break afterwards and I looked back at it and I was like, no, this is just not doing it for me. So I decided to do something a bit dramatic, let's say. And like I said before, at this point you can see me trying to save the drawing with these metallic markers and my white gel pen. I did try my best to make it look decent and and as though the colors look good, but honestly, I think the brown was the problem. The brown and the blue and the snowflake sparkly design, they just did not make sense together. Like, let's be honest, it just does not look good. But at that point, I thought I was done, so I filmed the outro and I was like, yeah, here's how the drawing looks, here's how it turned out and everything. And then I kind of thought to myself, I was like, you know what? I can't just give up like this. I mean, we can make it look way better. So the very first thing I did was I went ahead and covered the background with my blue metallic pen because I had a different idea in mind. And then it struck me that when I searched up background, I was actually meant to search up scenery. So then I searched up scenery and I was getting ready to draw, but then this cute little pumpkin was sitting on my lap and was actually napping on my lap, and every time I moved my hand, he would try and like adjust his sleeping position, and that's when I decided to give up. No, I'm kidding. I did give up, but not completely. I just gave it for the day. And then I came back the very next day and did something that did pain me a lot more than it pained you mentally. And that was ripping this page out and cutting this drawing up. But in a good way, because I cut around the character, and that way I can retry drawing the background with markers without worrying about, you know, all the different layers of marker that was already on the previous piece of paper. So I cut it out, glued it in, and don't worry, I will be repurposing those scrap pieces of paper because they are still good. And then I started to draw a scenery. So the scenery that I'm drawing right now is the very first scenery that showed up on Google Images when I searched up scenery. I feel like I said the word scenery a lot of times in that sentence, but that's totally fine. Anyways, let me just go ahead and try to explain what the scenery looked like. It was pretty much like a sunset or sunrise sky, fading from blue to yellow to orange, all in pastel colors. And then there was like a lake or like an ocean kind of thing in the bottom, most likely a lake in my opinion, or a pond. And there were a couple of leaves and grass all showing, but they were all in like a dark blue color, and it was pretty much just silhouettes. And there was also a dark blue silhouette of what I assumed to be a mountain in the background with a couple of trees. And that is pretty much how it looked. Now for this one, I didn't go ahead and change the colors like I did with the last one. I pretty much tried to stick to the same colors that was actually in the reference image because thank goodness it actually would have and does look nice with this actual character and his color palette and everything. And something else I would like to say is that I am actually shocked with how well this drawing turned out, considering all the curves and the obstacles and the problems and everything. I'm actually surprised with how this turned out. And in the end, if you were to ask me whether I liked the Pinterest version more or the Google version more, I would not be able to decide because I love them both equally. I think both the drawings turned out great, and I'm honestly fairly shocked. I also had lots of fun trying to use my markers in a painterly style to coloring the background. It was so much fun and it really pushed my creativity to a whole new level. The only part that I didn't find lots of fun was trying to fill in the gaps with my white gel pen, because since I cut the paper and did some coloring and stuff, it did get a little bit messy. But once I did that, the rest was pretty much fun. I added a couple more sparkles to the background because we love sparkles, and right after that I was pretty much done with this piece. I was happy with how it turned out, and I think it's time to show you guys how it turned out as well. Okay, now time for a quick comparison. Here is how the Pinterest drawing turned out, and here's how the Google drawing turned out. I, like I said before, equally love them both, but let me know in the comments below which one is your favorite. And anyways guys, that is pretty much it for today's video. Thank you so much for watching. Have a fabulous day, stay awesome as always, and I will see you guys in the next one. Until then, bye magical sparks!